On October 1911, Sun Yat-sen succeeded in Xinhai Revolution and declared the Republic of China. In Beijing, Yuan Sky was defending the Qing dynasty and Emperor Pui. Yuan Sky had the best army in China at the time, but Sun did not have any military power to defeat his army. To become the president of the Republic, one had to surrender the Qing dynasty and abdicate the Emperor Pui. So Sun opted to negotiate with Yuan Sky, and Yuan Sky insisted on he becoming the first president if he abdicated the Emperor Pui. Sun agreed to it, but Yuan Sky promised him that he would run the country with democracy. But Yuan Sky became the military dictator. On February 1912, the Emperor Pui was abdicated. So the Qing dynasty had ended, and the Yuan Sky became the first president of the Republic of China. And in a few years after that, he tried to become the emperor of the new dynasty. In the meantime, Japan asked him to accept 21 inquiries, including transferring Shandong province to Japan. In return, Japan would support his bid to become the emperor of the new dynasty. Yuan Sky could not do much about it because Japanese had very strong military power that Yuan Sky could not defeat it. So he agreed to what Japan asked, and Shandong province was transferred to Japan. At the time, Shandong province was occupied by Germany. The public did not like what they saw, and there were massive demonstrations, and some provincial heads went against Yuan Sky. Yuan Sky briefly became the emperor of the new empire, but it lasted only 33 days and he had to resign, and shortly after he died in 1916. Shortly after his death, China disintegrated into many regions that warlords ruled, and the warlords were the generals of Beiyang army that Yuan Sky commanded. Yuan Sky's government was called the Beiyang government, and despite of all these turmoils, Beiyang government was inherited by one of the generals of Beiyang army. In 1914, Japan entered World War I, occupied Shandong province from Germany. Japan was with the United Kingdom, France, and Russia. Beiyang government of China decided to enter World War I in 1917, and they fought alongside UK, France, Russia, and Japan. China sent 145,000 laborers to France, and they belonged to UK army. Though it was unrealistic, China expected to get back Shandong province and other territories that were occupied by the Western powers upon defeat of Germany. On April 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed, and the demands of China were entirely ignored, and the territories that Germany occupied were granted to Japan. It included Shandong province and the Pacific Islands. News hit Beijing on April 30, 1919, the professors and the students in Beijing University were outraged. On May 4th, they came out to Tiananmen Square and staged demonstrations. It was the beginning of the May 4th movement. The demonstrations spread rapidly throughout the country. Chinese people felt betrayals by Westerners and Christianity. And they also, the cause of demise of China was because of Confucianism. So they rejected just about everything. The idea from the Westerners and the traditional Confucianism. They didn't know what to grab for their spirits. But there was communism coming to them. Sun Yat-sen was in exile after he handed over Republic of China to Yuan Sky in 1912, and he came back to China in 1917 after Yuan Sky's death in 1916. On October 1919, he resurrected Kuomintang that was disbanded by Yuan Sky, and he created the Gwangju government in the south. So there was a Beiyang government in the north, and in the south, the Sun's government existed together. Lenin created Kuomintang to spread communism worldwide, and its influence reached China. On July 1st, 1921, Li Dajiao, who was the director of the Beijing University Library, and Shen Duxiu, who was the dean of College of Liberal Arts in Beijing University, created Chinese Communist Party. Now it set the stage for the fight that who would rule the entire China between Kuomintang and the Communist Party of China. Korean independent activists and fighters had to choose one or another, Kuomintang or the Communist Party. While he was in exile, Sun Yat-sen toured many countries in Europe and many cities in the United States of America. He made speeches that he wanted to make China just like countries in Europe and the United States of America that respects freedom and equality and free market. The audience welcomed him enthusiastically and donated a good sum of money. But the governments of powerful countries did not want to help Sun because if China became a strong country, then they could not take advantage of China. Sun Yat-sen did not have much choice. He had to pursue Lenin and Soviet Union. In 1918, he sent congratulatory telegram to Lenin for Bolshevik revolution. With help of Lenin, Sun Yat-sen began to negotiate with the Communist Party of China. He tried to make a united one party to build a new nation in China. In the beginning, CPC wanted equal stance with the Kuomintang, but Lenin suggested CPC should be observed by KMT, as Sun Yat-sen wanted. So the first United Front, KMT and CPC alliance was formed. Lenin persuaded CPC by saying that the revolution from within was always possible. Lenin aided Sun generously. Sun was able to build his own army and created Whampoa Military Academy. It produced many generals and important figures in both CPC and KMT. Some of Korean independent fighters went through the academy, and they were influenced by both CPC and KMT. Having government in the South, the imminent task of Sun Yat-sen was to surrender warlords and ban government in the North. It was named as Northern Expedition. He was about to embark the Northern Expedition, but he died of liver cancer on March 1925.